Hi everybody, it's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today we're going to talk about the full moon in Taurus, which was at 1:28 p.m. here on the West Coast. Today is November the 15th, and the full moon in Taurus is in opposition with the sun, and the sun is in Scorpio. So this is the natural axis between the moon and the sun and the opposite signs. So we have endings and new beginnings when we have the sun and the moon axis going on. Right now the moon is in Taurus, and we can see it down here. Let me just adjust this. It's right here, the moon in Taurus. And so we have Uranus connecting, or conjuncting rather. So Uranus is joining forces with the moon. So there's change going on, and it's kind of inevitable change. With Uranus, this is change that is surprising and unexpected, and that's kind of what I mean about inevitable. But the moon is there, so it's a little bit emotional. Now it's in Taurus, so Taurus is a little bit more practical, but things are going to change here, and the new moon, or the full moon rather, in Taurus, the full moon conjoining with Uranus, this is going to be about our values. What's changing about our values? What don't we believe in anymore? We don't have faith in anymore. Things like that. So some things are going to be, and this is what we're talking about, endings, right? We're going to have new beliefs, valuing. Some people are going to wake up and go, hey, I don't care for that anymore. I don't want that anymore in my life. I don't believe in it, and I don't value it. So we see the moon at 25 degrees, and it's showing up as 24 here. That's okay. And maybe I was looked at this earlier, possibly, but here's Uranus right next to it. It's almost a perfect conjunction. It's 2 degrees apart. And yeah, anybody with a Taurus moon is going to be feeling this potentially emotionally, because it is the moon, right? It may feel like you have no control over what's changing before your eyes. You may want change, right? You could be, the moon is a very intuitive, the moon can talk about your intuition. And the full moon in Taurus is asking us, once again, what do we believe in, or what do we value? Now, the moon is ruled by Cancer, so, every time we have a full or a new moon, the Cancer can always feel it because that is their planet. And so there's going to be new endings, endings and new beginnings. And as I said, the sun is always opposing the moon. The sun is asking us not to be very emotional. Don't be over emotional, but join together the forces of the sun, which is powerful. The sun is about success and strength and things like that. And down here, and clarity, down here we have the moon, which is more emotional. This is more about your feelings. The sun is about taking lead in your life. So we have a merging of the two if the opposition is taken advantage of, or is, there's probably a better word for that, but I feel like you know what I mean. Yeah, so when we have the full moon opposing the sun, or the sun opposing the moon, I feel like it is more like the sun. But it doesn't really make a difference here. Yeah, it's asking us not to be over emotional. The sun in Scorpio is asking us to lift the veil. We see Scorpio up here and where the sun is. And Scorpio is about lifting the veil to see what's underneath or what's hidden. It's asking us to look deeply at where our power lies. Yes, it does. And also, the sun-moon axis is asking us to have courage and to try to see things as they are in a practical way with the sun, rather than emotional or through the lens of safety. The full moon asks us to reevaluate our values, perhaps our stability, how we earn our money. The moon is trining Pluto, and Taurus rules the voice, so for some, this is relative to our own voice, the throat chakra, speaking up about things with regard to our values, our freedoms, our change, growth, personally or physically, socially, physically, every way. We have Uranus down here. This can be about social change right here. And so the fact that it is in Taurus, This can be, about our own beliefs changing or our values. For the collective, this is about changing values regarding our own humanity, our food. Taurus is about food, technology, and Uranus is trining Pluto. It is still in Capricorn until the 19th. So we'll talk a little bit more about Pluto changing, moving into Aquarius on the 19th. On a personal level, this relates to our power to allow our own transformation or regarding our career or how we want to be seen in the world and how we earn our money or what we value. Taurus down here, the moon in Taurus is about our financial security. It can be about that. And the moon is about our emotional security. So we can see kind of the push and pull here so everything here this can relate to our power to allow our own transformation. These can be family related. Old values are outdated, or they may be, or what we thought we wanted, we no longer want it. The moon Pluto trine is asking us to accept the truth. Let's look at the moon Pluto trine. So here's the moon here, and we see it right here, trining Pluto. Well, let's go ahead and go back to the... All right, we'll open full screen. And so let's look at the 12 signs. And before we do that, though, what this is asking us to do is look outside the box. Because Uranus is about looking outside the box. Uranus is about the individuality. This full moon can talk about our individuation and who we are deep down, who we really are on a personal level, on a soul level. And so that's what Uranus does. Uranus is about freedom. It's about rebellion. It's about being authentic in who you are and not caring what other people think of you. The moon Uranus sextile to Neptune in Pisces gives us the ability to imagine a new future. And so we see that sextile right here when we look at Uranus right down here, and now we have right here is Neptune. And here is the sextile right here with the little star or the asterisk. And so let's look at the 12 signs, you guys. So for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, especially Rising and Sun, if you have an Aries moon or anybody who has a moon of a particular sign that I'm calling out, this could be more related to your emotions, your feelings, or your family, or emotional support system. So the full moon, Aries, is in your second house of values, the money you earn, and the physical aspects in your life. The whole intro can say a lot for you. It definitely can, because the full moon is happening in the exact house because you are the first house or the first sign. So we don't have to look ahead or look back. We see exactly what's going on. And that's why the intro can really tell you a lot about what's going on for you. And here you are, Aries, right down here. And the full moon is in your your second house. So here it is. And the second house is the natural house. Taurus rules the second house, and that's what I was trying to explain. You are the first sign here. Try not to look at the actual the numbers here, but Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. So we always start with Aries. It is in the tarot. It is the Fool. It is a cardinal sign, and they are basically seeking what is authentic to them and what is passionate for them. So let's continue. All right, Aries, so the full moon is in your second house of values, the money you earn, and the physical aspects. Mars, your ruling planet, has moved into Leo, your fellow fire sign. And so your drive and your willpower is high. Sorry, guys. Any changing values or things you believed in can be let go easier now. The moon is about the past, and Uranus conjunct is telling you no, it's time for change. You have the desire and the courage to go after any creative endeavors, things related to your passion and your talents. And Mars in Leo is giving you the clarity and the courage to pursue your dreams. You have the North Node of Fate in your first house of self, individuality, and identity. Mars is also sextiling the South Node. So what this is saying basically is that you are striving toward your real potential, your true potential, and you're definitely striving to make your dreams come true. And the North Node of Fate is in your first house of self. And so we see it right here, Aries. Here is the North Node. The North Node it can be our true potential. It can be fate and destiny. And it is what we are striving to become or to move toward. All right. And so Mars is also sextiling the South Node, enabling you to see what needs to be left behind. You've learned a lot about love, Aries. Mars and the South Node are in your love houses, and there's an opportunity as well to create beauty and harmony in your relationships. So let's look at Taurus. And Taurus, this is your full moon. And once again, let me get the pointer here rather than the cursor. Once again, here you are, Taurus. Here is your sign. And so the full moon is in your first house. So whatever you no longer value, or you have new values, whatever's going on, it's very personal to you because it is in your first house of self. You're definitely seeing what no longer serves you, how you value relationships, the way you earn your money, partnerships, business, romantic, or otherwise. Yeah, you're definitely seeing that. The sun is in your seventh house. Yeah, your seventh house of relationships. And this is why you're seeing what you no longer value in relationships. And here is the sun in your seventh house. And so Scorpio is ruling your seventh house. And Scorpio is about intimate relationships, as is the seventh house in general. All right, so how you value your relationships, the way you earn your money, I mentioned that. The sun is in your seventh house of relationships, opposing the moon in your first house of identity and self. So I mentioned that, but you may be seeing now what you could not see before, because Scorpio is allowing you to see, as is the sun. So you're able to see here what you don't want anymore, or what can allow you to create more harmony and beauty in your life, especially going forward. Venus, your ruling planet, is in your ninth house. Where is Venus? So here you are, your ninth house is here. Your ninth house is ruled by Saturn, or Capricorn, we can say. We can say Saturn, but your ninth house is ruled by Saturn. It's a better way to say it. And getting back to this here, Saturn is ruling your ninth, as I said, right? You may be traveling or learning something new, Taurus. If you're not partnered, your choices in a partner may be someone who's on the same spiritual path or agrees with you on a philosophical, intellectual, or psychological level. Also, choosing someone who is stable financially may be more important to you now. That will depend on your chart. I'd have to see your chart, because financial stability is important to Taurians as a rule. Venus could be, not Venus, but Uranus could really be switching that up as to what values you still hold. Venus squares both the north and south nodes at the time of the full moon. Let's look at that. So here is a Venus, and here is the south node. Here's the square right here, and now we have Venus over here as well, squaring the north node right here. So when we see that, we know that there's some type of tension between the future and the past. And so we have Venus doing it. And Taurus, Venus is your ruling planet. So this is very interesting. There's something that you know needs to be left behind in order to kind of live out your true potential. It can be regarding love. Venus does represent love. It doesn't have to be. It is sitting in Capricorn as well, which is not about love. No, more about the practical and achievement and your career. So there's tension. When we see the squares, Venus squaring both the north and the south node at the time of the full moon, there's tension, or you might feel there's a choice or a crossroads or a decision is in line between the past and the future. It will be easier for you to do that with Venus creating an opportunity in your 11th house of the future. And Venus in trine with the natural descendant is supporting your 5th house of love, creativity, family, and leadership. So for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, here you are on the wheel here. And the Sun is in your 6th house of daily responsibilities, opposing the full moon in your 12th house of endings. So the Sun in Scorpio is letting you see where your power really lies, Gemini, for sure. And allowing you to see what in your daily life needs to change or end. Maybe it needs adapting, but Uranus, the planet of change in the future, is there in your house of endings. And so here's your 12th house, and this is the 12th house of endings, Gemini. So there is something that is definitely going away. And so this placement here, Uranus in your 12th house, is asking you to choose change. It's asking you, what do you value, so you can create a better future for yourself. Uranus is there to advise you. It's there to show you that change is inevitable for you to grow. And, you know, for you, Gemini, for you, growth is, it's important because you are the 3rd house of the intellect and the mind. So the Sun in your 6th house wants to hold on to the known, but Scorpio, shaping that house, is letting you see where your power lies. It's letting you see the truth. Pluto, the ruler of your 6th house, is in trine with Uranus. All right, so where is Pluto? And here's Uranus, and Pluto is up here. And yeah, definitely very cool right there. And so this is boosting your power and the ability to see perhaps what you couldn't see, or possibly what you didn't want to see, Gemini. And Chiron, the little asteroid that represents healing and reflection, is in your 11th house of the future. Here's Chiron right here. So there's something that's healing for you, and that is helping you move into your future, right? That is helping you see things different, and that will depend what that actually is. But this is helping you to heal or letting you move beyond your own vulnerabilities. All right, so for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, the full moon is taking place in your 11th house of the future. And here you are, Cancer, right here. And here is the full moon in your 11th house. And this is the house of hopes and wishes, and also gains. The 11th house relates to social networks, change, and liberation. This can be about friends, groups, clubs that you're in, associations that you basically you vibe with, or that you associate yourself with. And Uranus is also about the 11th house too, is about and here it is in your 11th house. Uranus loves to be in the 11th house because it rules the 11th house. We have Venus ruling your 11th house. So whatever this is happening, whatever this means for you, Cancer, is that you may want the finer things in life. That could be the case, and your values are changing, possibly with regarding the way you earn your money. So with the moon conjunct Uranus, you're being challenged to accept or allow something, Cancer, to flow for your future. It probably feels unstable or unsafe, perhaps, because Cancerians like to feel safe or kind of balanced and secure. But Uranus will never bring anything stable or secure, not if it is involving growth and future and the future and moving forward. It usually comes like a tower. It can feel really unstable. At the time of the full moon, the sun and moon are always in opposition, as I have explained, and the sun in your 5th in Scorpio, here's the sun in your 5th house, is shining the light on your talents, your creative gifts, your leadership, but your feelings or security is affected, or at least it feels like it's challenged in some way. You might be really wanting to do something, Cancer, and you're feeling a little emotional about it. It could be something like in entertainment or creative, or maybe it's gambling, or it can be anything, and you're kind of feeling like it might not be safe because it's such a huge change. The moon is your ruling planet Cancer, in essence, merging the past and the future may feel tricky. Yeah, exactly. And the moon is in sextile with Neptune and in trine with Pluto. This is about following your heart and accepting the truth that your power lies in you trusting your intuition and following your heart. All right. So when Pluto moves into your 8th house, Cancer, where it is very much at home, into Aquarius on November 19th, that truth will be more visible and powerful for you. Any acceptance will be easier. And so for Leo, we have Leo, your ruling planet, the sun, is creating the opposition with the moon in Taurus. And this is the natural axis at the time of any full moon, and the sun is in Scorpio. For the full moon is happening in your 4th house, house of home and family. Here you are, Leo, right? And here is the full moon. What did I just say about the full moon is happening in your 4th house? No, that's not really true. Here's Leo. The sun is in your 4th house, I beg your pardon. And the full moon is down here. And that full moon is actually in your 10th house of career. So this is the axis between home and family and work, typically. Or kind of achievement, hard work, discipline versus kind of emotional stability. But the house, okay, let's see what else we have. And so this 4th house, 10th house access is related to your foundation, as I have explained, opposing your career possibly. And there could be family kind of, you could be really dealing with a lot of family because both the 4th and the 10th houses can relate to family. This could be about how you see yourself in the world, Leo, for sure. So there's a bit of a push-pull between how you earn your money, your shared resources, perhaps how you share your money with partners. This can talk about investments or other shared resources because your 10th house is in Scorpio. So here we have the sun in Scorpio is also about, this is about shared resources. And the moon down here is in also a money sign. So, you know, there could be definitely money, kind of your values, how they are aligned with how you see money or how you are earning money or how you receive money. Anything that is related to money or your values. All right, so there may be a truth here. And there's something that you see or you understand regarding your parents, living or ones who have passed on. And there's something you might be kind of connecting the dots with on that. So the sun also trines Neptune. You might feel you need to help others, even a group of people. Uranus, the planet of surprises and the future, is in sextile with Neptune. So here's Uranus down here, and the sextile here is the star or the asterisk, really, that is creating the sextile, and Neptune is right here. And so, this sextile, you're more open about the future, and so your own creativity, or perhaps how to create your future, Leo. All right, so for Virgo, the full moon is going on in your 9th house of higher realms, wisdom, learning, travel, and expansion. So here you are over here, Virgo, and here is the full moon right down here. This is your 9th house. You're seeing things clearly and wisely, intellectually and intuitively. You're changing, and there are changes going on around you, it seems. You may have goals, or you may be making a decision about one, possibly to create that change. And Mercury, your ruling planet, is opposing Jupiter, the planet of expansion and the 9th house. Mercury is about the mind, our communications, goals, and willpower. And so here we see the Jupiter. Where is the Jupiter? Here's the Jupiter, and it is opposing. It is really Mercury that is opposing Jupiter, and Mercury is your ruling planet here. So in your 4th house of family, or your emotional support system, your foundation. So Mercury is helping us. Mercury is about the mind, our communication, goals, and willpower. And Jupiter in the opposition, Jupiter represents expansion and higher learning, higher realms, spirituality. There's a lot going on with family or your own foundation that supports you emotionally and your feelings between how you may want to be seen in the world, or like your reputation. Maybe you are making a huge change that has to do with family, and so Maybe you're changing your status, right? Marital status or something like that. And you may have a choice moving forward regarding your values. And what I mean by you, I don't mean that you may be offered one. You could have a choice, right, in front of you. Moving forward regarding your values, your money, and your stability. Mercury squares Saturn, creating tension in your house of partnerships. And you seem to be removing restrictions or things that bog you down in that part of your life. So be true to yourself, Virgo. And Mercury is trining Chiron. Here is Mercury up here, and here is Chiron right here. So, and Mercury is in your fourth house, and we see Chiron. Where is Chiron sitting? Chiron is actually, let's see where Chiron is. Scorpio's in your third house. I beg your pardon. Yeah, Chiron's in your eighth house. So we have a trine here. Yeah, we have a trine between, this is your fourth house. I beg your pardon, Virgo. Yeah, this is your fourth house right here in, Mercury is actually in Sagittarius. And so it's trining Chiron. So this is your ability to heal yourself. It's your ability to understand where your vulnerabilities lie and kind of to remove them. Yeah, it's very, that's a very cool placement right there. And so Mercury trines Chiron, as I'm saying, and this is about healing and reflection. But here it's in Aries, and Aries is about the self. This may be about how you show up in relationships, because this here is, this is your eighth house right here in Scorpio. I believe it is. Yes, it is. All right. So, and so you may have had doubts about yourself, Virgo, with regard to something personal, and your whole perspective changes. It's you might have had some type of epiphany here in your life, but definitely there's some spirituality or something that you're understanding about yourself. And so now your perspective changes. You're seeing things from a higher perspective. Good for you, Virgo. So for Libra, the full moon sun axis is in your second and eighth houses. All right, let's look at that. So here you are, Libra, and here's the sun in your second house. And then we have the eighth house. So where is Scorpio at? Let's have a look at this. Not Scorpio, the eighth house for you. Yeah, it's in your eighth house. And so for, beg your pardon on this one, but for Virgo, this is your seventh house. So you are healing something about how you see yourself in relationships. Very interesting. All right. And that's what I said. You are lifting some type of restriction that has to do with relationships or how you show up. Yeah, exactly. All right. So now we have for Libra, this second and eighth house kind of axis going on, or opposition. So here's the second house for you, Libra, and down here is the eighth house, right? And you might feel a bit challenged when it comes to the money you earn, Libra, maybe how you value your money or what's important regarding money, or simply simply what you believe in or don't believe in anymore. Uranus is shaking up your eighth house. Remember, Uranus is about, this is your eighth house, but Uranus is about instability and surprises and changes in order to change things for the future. And so, Uranus is shaking up the eighth house. The eighth house is also about intimate relationships, shared resources with partners or investments, or even the money you earn. You may have a choice. You're seeing that something needs to change, or you need to adapt to something, or some sort of adjusting. And Venus, your ruling planet, Libra, is ruling, your ruling planet is ruling your eighth house. Let's look for Venus here. And here you are. It's actually ruling your fourth house. I don't know why I wrote that here, but here is Libra. We go 4 over. We count over to Venus. Here's Venus. So Venus is in your fourth house. Yeah, I knew that was not in your eighth house. Venus is ruling, but it is ruling your eighth house. So let's look here. And here is the second house. And what I mean by that is Venus is ruling your eighth house because the eighth house is in Taurus for you. So that is correct. And so there's support here for you, Libra, but something's being challenged there, right? So we have this Venus sextile with the natal ascendant, and it's in trine with the descendant in your house of endings. So your house of endings is here in Virgo. This is your last house. Before your first house, which is the house of self, right here. And so there's an opportunity for you to let go. Whoop, let's get that light back up. For you to let go of something here. Let's open that again. And so, yeah, there's a huge opportunity for, well, we have to close this first and then refresh. All right, we'll open this up. Okay, here we are once again. All right, so there's an opportunity for you to let go of doing something an old way, Libra. It may be your view on it has changed, and at the same time, we have Venus squaring the nodes of fate. So here's Venus right here, and you can see the square over to the south node. This is you letting go of something about yourself. It's in your first house of self. You're letting go of something like, I'm not doing that anymore. I don't behave that way anymore. I don't see myself that way anymore. It looks like you're letting go of some type of vulnerability or something. Maybe you're holding on to something for, from the past for a long time. It could actually be like family related, but it is about the past because the fourth house is here and that does rule the past. Yes, as does the south node. So when we have the square right here with Venus squaring the south node, we also have a square with the north node. So definitely something's being let go in order to kind of bridge the gap between, it's not really even bridging the gap between the past and the future. It's letting go of something entirely in order to move forward stronger and better, definitely. And for sure it is. So this could be about something you identify kind of like with yourself, definitely. And so, and there is support as well here for you, Libra, as well. So this is important because these squares, squaring the nodes of fate. Remember, the nodes are the nodes of fate. The north node can be seen as fate and destiny. It is what we are striving to become. It can be our full potential, our highest potential. And so, yeah, what you're letting go of has a lot to do with your own identity, how you see yourself, and how you see yourself possibly in relationships, professional or romantic. You can see your power, you can see where it lies and what sustains your inner security. Okay, so for Scorpio, the full moon is important for you as the full moon is opposing the sun in your first house. You're moving forward smarter in your relationship, Scorpio, and your values around how you show up in relationships, romantic or business, is changing. You know now what's important in relationships. It seems that you feel that change is inevitable and it's in your best interest. So the time of the full moon may feel both emotional but yet empowering, which is kind of cool. And Pluto, your ruling planet, the planet of transformation and ordeals, moves into Aquarius on November 19th, when it will move into your fourth house of foundation and family and your emotional support system. So this is encouraging you to use your Plutonian power, Scorpio, to adapt and allow change, possibly deep transformation and deep change. Pluto trines the south node in your 12th house of endings. So we see a lot of endings here. And this is super intuitive, psychic for some. And you know intuitively something must be released and something connected to your past. It may be about old wounds. So let's look at Sagittarius. And let's see what we have. The full moon is in your 6th house of daily life, obligations, health, and work. So Sagittarius, you could be moving into a whole new life. Your work could change, your health, or, maybe you are, working on some type of, big health regime. Every day you go do yoga or something like that. But you could be moving house, right? And maybe you are doing new work as well. So the sun being in your 12th house of endings, here's the sun in your 12th house, and here is your sign here. This is you in your first house. So you know intuitively perhaps that life's going to change. You could be feeling it. Venus is ruling your second house of money and values, and you may be taking better care of yourself with Venus there. The way you look at relationships, money, and work could be changing as well. You may value these areas of your life more than ever. It's interesting to know, too, that, people could really be looking at their whole world in a different way, because Uranus is about the world. It's about humanity. Yes, it is. And so, your ruling planet is Jupiter is retrograde until February 4th, 2025. And Jupiter, where is Jupiter? It is here, retrograde in Gemini. And it's in your seventh house of relationships, the house of relating to others, legalities, and balance and equality. So you could be returning, right? You could be returning to someone from your past. That's a possibility. Mercury, the planet of the intellect and communication, in your first house of self, opposes Jupiter. And here is Mercury opposing Jupiter down here. And, interesting there in this axis with, Mercury is ruling Gemini down here, and Jupiter is ruling Sagittarius. So we have this kind of this axis, that's the opposition, but it's clear what it's about. And this is about, this is basically about you having lots of like creative ideas or ideas that can help you expand in your life, but you may have too many, and you might have to narrow it down and choose what is more important. Yeah. And so we also have, with the Jupiter retrograde, you may be in your thoughts about that as well, about your plans, your goals, your decisions right here. You could be kind of really just reflecting on that, right? And so Mercury is trining Chiron. Here's Mercury, Sagittarius, and the trine to Chiron is here. We can see the little, it's this line here with the little, the little triangles. And so Chiron is about healing. Excuse me. It can be about our vulnerabilities, our sensitivities, and it is about reflection. But the willingness or the ability to reflect on what needs to be kind of overcome, what sensitivity or vulnerability needs to be overcome. Sometimes it is about our health, but usually not. Usually it is about something else, something that we feel like we kind of need to work on, for ourselves. All right, so Mercury is trining Chiron, the asteroid symbolizing reflection and healing, but Mercury is in your house of self. Yeah, see, and Chiron is in your fifth house of love, creativity, leadership, entertainment, and recreational activities. So we have Mercury in the house of self, and the fifth house down here for you, where Chiron is, this is the house of self-expression as well. You look like you are kind of leaving behind doubts, fears, and insecurities regarding your creative endeavors, how you express yourself in the world, and possibly in love as well. So that's really powerful. It is. So for Capricorn, the full moon is in your fifth house of love, creativity, and self-expression. So here is, excuse me guys, here's right here is Taurus. This is your fifth house. Your fifth house is ruled by Venus, which is beautiful in my opinion, because Venus is about love and creativity as well. All right, so excuse me, as is the fifth house. So where are you, Capricorn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm going to make sure we're in the right house there. Yes, and with Uranus there conjuncting the moon, Uranus is bringing you change in that area of your life. The sun is in your 11th house, Capricorn, right up here. Where's the sun? That is not really, it is your 11th house, I beg your pardon. And here's the 12th house, Sagittarius. And so here the sun is in your 11th house, the house of surprises in the future. This is the house of hopes and gains and wishes. And this is represented by Uranus in the natural chart. So Uranus is having a lot of influence on you, Capricorn. So your ruling planet Saturn is squaring off with Jupiter. Where is Saturn? Saturn is, I don't see Saturn so readily. Here it is right here, squaring off with Jupiter here. This is a 90-degree configuration. We can see the square right here. And so there's an opportunity to move forward for achievement, but it's going to depend on personal growth and discipline, it seems, which you guys are good at, Capricorn, discipline and achievement, things like that. But this has to do with your lifestyle, how you structure your day-to-day business or your job. If you're not working or you're retired, this can have to do with your daily activities. You may need to pay attention to your health, exercise more, or perhaps, or a healthy diet. There's a challenge here that's related to your foundation, possibly your stability, emotional or family related. You're being asked, Capricorn, to balance something regarding your goals and your ideas and something personal about you versus your work or your health. And so for Aquarius, the full moon is taking place in your fourth house of family. Here you are, Aquarius, and we move four houses down to right here to Taurus. And so there's change going on in that part of your life. And this is the fourth house of emotional support, right? As I was saying, the sun is opposing the moon. This can be about the past too. The fourth house is also about the mother. It can be about the father, as I said, the family, and it can be about the past. It is also about the public and the masses. So the sun is opposing the moon, and this is the axis of family foundation opposite to career or how you want to be seen in the world, the work that you do, maybe for creative purposes, like if you are not working. It could just be kind of your own work that has nothing to do with earning money. There needs to be a balance between your foundation or your family or emotional security versus your practical life and things you want to achieve, your career or your status. And Uranus is your ruling your ruling planet. Did I say Capricorn? This is for Aquarius. Yeah, this is definitely for Aquarius. Yeah, let's not get we are not talking about Capricorn anymore. No, we're not. And Uranus is your ruling planet, and the moon Uranus conjunct is, conjoining, and where they are joining forces is asking you to see the truth, Aquarius, about what you value and to allow change as it may be inevitable. It's asking you to go deep as the sun is in Scorpio. There may be something that needs to be released in order for this change to happen, or in order for you to kind of resonate with new values. Uranus is in trine with Pluto. Pluto, the planet of transformation, intense change, and ordeals will move into your first house of self. So there's going to be profound change for you, for some of you, regarding your values and what sustains you emotionally or provides a foundation for you. For some Aquarians, you might be going through a gradual awakening for a very long time. You could, when Pluto enters your sign. That's really interesting. And so the sun is opposing your natal Uranus. It may be asking you to look closer at where you see yourself in your life because your values are changing. You may have insights, psychic or spiritual, that come very unexpectedly. And unexpected events can also take place. So for Pisces, the full moon is in your third house of plans and goals, communication, learning, and travel. All right. This can be related to siblings and the local community. You've learned something important about yourself, Pisces. You have a higher understanding of yourself. Your intuition is high or it's heightened, and you may have a powerful realization about yourself. You might want to study a course, a discipline perhaps. It may be spiritually driven. The sun trines your ruling planet Neptune. Here is the sun trining your planet here, Neptune, and we see the sun with the right here with the triangle. It's hard to kind of see how it is actually, and here it is right here from Neptune. And that trine is, it could be helping you to share your wisdom. You could be feeling more caring. Neptune is in your first house of self, and your imagination and creative juices could be really flowing and really kind of helping you feel good, really, because Pisces is about the creative. It's about the imagination, fantasy, and things like that. It can be also about movie making, photography. There's a long list, right? At the time of the full moon, the outer planets are supporting you, Pisces. The moon sextiling your natal Neptune in your third house of mind, ideas, and goals. So this can be like, basically, you have these ideas that are really coming to you in a very intuitive way. So your ideas are creative for sure, and the Uranus sextile Neptune, although both planets are retrograde, you have a better understanding of who you are as a person. It may be slow in coming with the retrograde, but it's there, and you're able to see that change may be a really good thing. So we're going to end this today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like a reading, you can get one, and look below in the description box, and I will include the calendar there for you to do that. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the little bell in order to receive all my notifications.